Hello, so in this video we're going to talk about looking at things from a different view. So we're talking about perspective, because sometimes you need a different approach to be able to solve a problem. As an example, so this is my cat, and this is also my cat. Same cat, different view. So you see different features, you just you get a different picture of the whole thing. As another example, this is a banana flower. So you notice the little bananas up top and a little funky looking flower thing. Then the picture on the right is the same exact flower, it's just a different angle. So sometimes if we're going to actually solve problems, we have to take a different approach. We have to look at it from a different angle, because sometimes we don't always see what we need to be able to solve the problem. It's different in a normal math class like Algebra 2 or something like that, where the formula is given. But when you're solving real world stuff, you have to be able to look at it creatively. An example of this is when you're talking about area. So like let's say this is 4 feet by 10 feet. Okay, so you know, I've been at this for a little while, so if I'm looking at area, all I do is I say, okay, well, you know, that's 4 times 10. So I would say, okay, well, area is width times the height, or length times the width, or however you want to call that. So length times width. So that would be 4 times 10. So I would have 40 feet squared, right? That's the way I look at it. So I just take the one side by the other side, and then if I need to figure out how much of something fits in there, then I would look at that separately. But that's the basic length times width, that's your area. But sometimes you can think of it in a different way. So really, you could think of this as this area being full of little boxes, right? And maybe it's something like this. Okay, well, so if that's like 2 feet by 2 feet, and I realize this bigger rectangle is kind of off scale, maybe I should change that. Okay, so I've made this a better shape. Okay, so that's 4 feet by 10 feet. You can look at it too as, like from this perspective. Okay, so this little box is 2 feet by 2 feet. So I can actually look at it as, okay, well, I can see it as 4 feet times 10 feet, but I could also look at it as how many of these little boxes would fit in this big box. So if I put that in there, I could go, okay, well, okay, I have one. So then if I, paste a whole bunch in there, let's see, let me copy and paste. Actually, I'm going to take this one out. Just going to copy this whole line, and it's not straight, but you get the idea. So I could say, okay, well, I could look at it as 4 feet by 10 feet, but I could also look at it as well, okay, well, 2 boxes fit this way, and then 5 boxes fit this way. So that's 10 of these 2 foot by 2 foot boxes would fit in this bigger rectangle. Which is kind of, I mean, to me it's a little bit cumbersome, but it kind of depends on what you're calculating. So then in this case, if I say, well, there were 10 smaller boxes, so my basic measurement was 4 feet by 10 feet. And I said there were 10 of the smaller boxes, so 10 boxes. And each of the boxes was 2 feet by 2 feet. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, so that gives me 4 foot squared for that area. So if I know that one box is 4 feet squared, then I can take this 10 boxes and I can still find area, right? So if I do 4 feet by 10 feet, I already know that that's 40 feet squared all by itself. So then if I take these 10 boxes and I want to figure it out that way, I can do my little, oops, I missed the S, that's okay. I can do my little conversion thing like we were doing in class the other day, or online if you were at home. The little conversion thing said, okay, well, I start out with boxes. What I really want is feet squared. So I could go, okay, I want feet squared, so I want to put that up here. I want boxes to cancel out, so I put my boxes down there, because really I want the area. So area equals question mark, because that's what we're trying to find. And then I have this conversion, right? One box is 4 feet squared. So I could go, okay, one box, 4 feet squared. Then now I can actually do the math. So boxes cancels with boxes. And then I have 10 times 4. So that gives me an area of 40 feet squared. So notice we got the same area. We just looked at it in a different way. So that's the whole thing with perspective, is that we're taking a problem. Usually it's a problem that we haven't been able to solve, and we've been looking at it, we've been going, oh my goodness, there's no answer, I'm going to give up now. But sometimes you just have to take that problem and look at it a different way, and that's what perspective is. So we're going to be using that as we go through AQR, because there's always more than one way of looking at something, and sometimes you need to look at it a different way. And just because your way of looking at it's different than somebody else's doesn't make either one of you wrong, because you might still get the same answer.